What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How is your week?
How is your life?
Going. And today, make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know when you guys go to our website. Like we've said before, you guys can follow all of our social media. You can watch our podcast there. You can listen to it there. You can see ways that you can support the show. But more important than any of that stuff, because you're already listening to the podcast, is to leave us a review, a like, a comment, all that, because that all helps. And the most important one, I think, is iTunes. iTunes for podcasts anyway. iTunes and YouTube. I think YouTube, we're at like 270 something subscribers. Like we're almost at 300 after 3 years.
I know.
Yeah, but we're gonna, I'm working on some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely appreciate if you guys help us out. Leave us a review wherever you're listening to this. Yeah, would definitely help us out.
There you go. So, and you know, we've always talked about this, you know, about the podcast and why, you know, we should have more subscribers. I mean, we hear all the great feedback from you all, people that we know that listen to the podcast, but because it is a general podcast, I mean, it is about us.
About our life.
It's not just about our relationship or parenting.
It's primarily marriage and parenting, because it's about our marriage and it's about we talk all the time about our kids and parenting lessons and all that kind of stuff. But everything in life like bleeds into parenting and marriage. So when you're making, you know, a jujitsu video or a spirituality video and all that stuff, you know, it's kind of hard.
It's part of who we are. It's part of what we do. It's part of our life.
But there is no niche.
Yeah. So
or niche.
So YouTube, you know, has a little bit of problem with that.
They
don't know how to find us. Because our topics are sometimes marriage, sometimes it's parenting, sometimes it's
fighting,
leadership, entrepreneurship.
Right.
You know, so it's just all over the place. So the way you all can help us out is by leaving us a review, liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. So yeah.
Yep, perfect.
So I made the decision. First of all, we're in Arizona.
Yeah.
And those of you that may live in New York or, you know, somewhere where it's a bit colder are probably looking at us like, you all are wearing sweaters? No.
I mean, it is winter in Arizona.
But it's cold here.
It gets to like the 60s.
Yes. Like for me, it's cold. Hey, in the evenings?
No, in the evenings, it gets to the 30s like when it gets cold. But right now it's like 40 something in the evening.
So after my kickboxing class and while I meditate as well, I like to go sit in the sauna. It is so... Just how would you explain sitting in the sauna today? You went for the first time.
Yeah. Well, I've done it before.
Yeah,
but it's the first time in a long time.
Exactly.
I haven't gone in
years.
I mean, since we've been married, so it's been
14,
longer than that.
Yes.
And even since we've been married before that.
So how was it for you today?
It was great. It was great. I mean,
it's very calming.
At first, it takes a little, like a couple minutes to kind of get used to it. And then it's like, yeah, this is cool. Like I was telling you, I mean, I don't know about like meditate. I mean, I guess it was like meditating, but I guess it's not because I was thinking, but I was kind of sitting there and I just had, like, I was just kind of sitting up, like, you know, straight like this. And I just had my eyes closed. And I was just like focusing on my breathing and then just kind of being there. Yeah. You know, and I told you that in that moment, I felt like a samurai meditating. You know.
So I've been, you know, using the sauna for quite some time. So I love it. I enjoy it. I meditate in there. I stretch in there. Whenever I am fasting, that's my to-go to detox as well.
I was watching a video about that. They say that's
and
good.
Just let your body release the toxins. And so the longest I've went in was between 25-30 minutes. And by 30 minutes, I am dying. Like, I'm like, not dying, but it's like, okay, I'm done. Like, no more. I'm done. And I'm out of there. Right. And just this past week, while I'm in there meditating, I have a thought that comes by. And that thought is, you should jump in the pool. Like our pool. Yeah.
And it's
outdoor,
not heated.
That's outside.
Yeah.
And I felt my body cringe. And what I'm doing this year in 2023 is really just putting myself out there, like doing the things that make me feel comfortable. Like there's no fear. There's no uncomfortable. There's no judgment against self or anyone around me. No fear, right? Just
go for
doing it. And so when I felt my body cringe, I decided right there and then, you're doing it. Right. So that's what I did. So I was in there for 30 minutes. I rushed home and got into the pool. Were you here that day?
Yeah, I was here. I was here the first day, I think.
Yes.
I don't know.
And I set it up for 4 minutes. And so I was in there, and I'm telling you, when my body, first my feet, because I didn't dive in. And I walked in.
Yeah, we ended up getting a thermometer for the pool. And I think the water is about 46. It was about 46 that day.
Yes. So I walk in and I feel my feet, and there was still no, this is cold. It was so great because there was no backing down, right? There's no stepping back out of the pool. So I just pushed forward. And when I went into the pool, it felt like a bunch of little needles piercing my body.
Yeah.
And my breathing, I've never felt my breathing so out of control, right? Like just.
Had you looked anything up? Like about your breathing and getting in the pool or nothing? No, you
I'm
just
did
did
like
it.
fucking doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a thought.
Go for it.
And I'm like, people say it's good, so my body's not going to go in shock. I'm going to freaking do it. And it was a thought. Saw how my body reacted to that thought. So I'm like, I'm doing it.
Right.
So while I'm in there, after a while, when you just give in and you get control of your breathing and you just become one with the water, right? Because I've been meditating.
Yeah.
So my mind was already blank and just sitting there and just focusing on what I was listening. The birds chirping. Because we have tons of birds in the backyard. Just listening to the birds chirping. And then when it was time to get out, I got out. And then again, feeling the needles, right? Yeah. And I went and I sat in our lawn chair or on our lawn chair because I didn't want to get too comfortable right away. So I just grabbed a towel and I laid there and I gave into what I was feeling.
Yeah.
And then I decided to take a warm bath. That was my first day. My second day, I forgot to set the timer to 4 minutes. You were here.
Yeah, I was working from home that day.
And I forgot to set the timer. While I'm in there, I realized that. And I'm like, damn, I don't want to get out before the 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just stayed in there. Until.
So that day, I was working from home. And where I sit to work, I can look out to my left out the window and I can see the pool and I can see you in the pool. And that day, like I'm sitting there and I'm, sending out emails or doing my thing. And I'm like looking over and I'm like, damn, like she's still in there. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's been longer than 4 minutes. And then like, I'm still sending emails. I was like, if she turns into a fucking ice cube, I might have to go get her, And then dude, like you were in there for a while. And I told you when you got out, I was like, you must have been in there for at least like 7 to 10 minutes or something like that.
And I told him, I'm like, I forgot to set my timer.
And then I started laughing. I'm like, oh, that's what it was.
But what's so amazing about this, and this was only my second time, right?
Yeah.
My third day, I go into the sauna. And remember, I said I could never go past like 30 minutes. 30 minutes was like enough for me. Well, third day in it, right? Because it says that it helps with your endurance. Like just your endurance and being.
Your mental endurance?
Your mental endurance. Yes. There you go. Thank you, babe. So the third day I go into the sauna and dude, this is the deepest I've ever gotten to my meditation in the sauna. So I'm laying there on my back and I always cover my face and my hair because it dries out your hair or whatever. Anyways, so I'm laying there and I feel my body just very calm, right? And then I hear a voice, hey, are you okay? And I take the towel down and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. This bubbly ass face. Yeah, I'm fine. I was just meditating. She's like, oh, I was worried. She's like, I thought you fell asleep. But that's how my breathing was very calm. And I looked at the clock and it was already 45 minutes. And I could have went longer.
Yeah.
I could have went longer.
Yeah.
And it has to do with that cold plunge because before it was like I would be checking the time like, oh, is it time yet? Is it time yet?
Yeah. I felt today when I jumped in there, I did 20 minutes. I think he told me to do like 12 or whatever. And I looked it up and it said you should do 15. And like if it's your first time or whatever. And then I looked like you should do like 20, like work your way up to like 20 to 30 minutes at least or whatever. But I was like, I'll just do fucking 20.
Because that's Miguel.
'Cause that's me. But when I was in there, like at first, like I said, the first couple minutes, like it's fucking hot in here.
Yes.
And it takes a little bit to get used to it. But like I said, once I just sat there and I got in my samurai pose and I closed my eyes and I just started breathing, I was chilling. Like I started stretching and then I felt like I got out after 20 minutes because that's what I said I was going to do. But I felt like I could have stayed in there longer. Yeah. You know, and it felt great. It felt great.
It's very just comfortable. It's like, it's just, and it all depends too. I mean, there's some girls that go in there and they have their headset on and I can hear the music they're listening to. And I'm like, I am so past that. Yeah. You know, like they're listening to loud music and, you know, it's like, I'm just not there in my life right now.
There was another kid in there when I was in there and he's like on his phone checking TikTok or some shit. I'm like, do your thing, man. Like, I mean, you're in here.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. And I just, when I see that, you know, and I'm just like, I just think to myself, I am just not there anymore. You know, like I'm just not there anymore. Yeah, and it's okay that they're there, but I'm just not there anymore.
Yeah. I think I would rather just be in silence or stretching or just, I guess, meditating. I was just thinking, you know how you could get me to meditate more? If you buy me like a samurai suit and like a sword, I'd put that shit on and then I could fucking sit there. That's the only way I'm going to fucking meditate.
Let me tell you, after the cold showers, because this is my 4th day, I feel...
Or the cold plunge.
The cold plunge. What did I say? Cold shower?
Yeah, the cold
They say you could do a cold shower, by the way. If you don't have a pool...
Do a cold shower.
Or a lake by your house. Yeah. Do a cold shower. They say it's the worst because how...
It does feel like needles, probably.
Yes, it's just because you're not fully submerged.
Oh, yeah.
So if you do a cold bath, they said that's preferable. Okay. You can do a cold bath versus a shower. But hey, whatever. If you're like Miguel, go in it. Right? Go in it. But afterwards, you just feel so good. And today I did it correctly because I decided to look some things up. And they say not to get into a hot shower right away, to allow your body temperature
to stabilize. Yeah.
Right. On its own. And I'm like, oh, because what I noticed was when I got out of the warm shower, I didn't have all the energy that they said that you should have. I was just very comfortable. I was like very relaxed. There you go. Yeah. But today, since I allowed my body just to reach its temperature on its own, and then I showered, and I didn't take a hot shower. I took a warm shower. Yeah. That I felt the energy. I felt the boost.
I'm going to do that. I think, so I also did the cold plunge today.
Yes. And, how was it for you?
It was good. I did it because, like I said, the sauna and all that shit. I set my timer for 5 minutes, and I got in there. And I'll tell you one thing, like the time went by faster than I thought, you know, but when you first get in there, like you said, when you get up to your, like your shins, or up to your knee, it doesn't feel bad. It's like, oh, this is cold, but it doesn't feel too bad. But once you start getting past your knees, up to your nuts and then up to your chest and
I don't
your
have
shoulders,
nuts, so I don't know.
Or up to your ovaries.
My ovaries froze.
Yeah. And then like, you're like, holy shit, like this is cold. But I think, you know, like I've looked up stuff on cold plunges and all that. And even before I got in there, you know, I knew that what you have to do to be able to stay in there is to control your breathing. So like before I even got in there, like I took a few deep breaths, I drank some water, took a few deep breaths and, you know, just got my mind right. And I'm like, all right. And I took a couple breaths and I kept breathing as I was getting in the water. And then I got down to my shoulders. I didn't sink my head in. I'm going to do that.
No, they say, I don't know why. I haven't heard. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it matters or not. But yeah, so I did it. And, you know, I closed my eyes for a little bit. I was just focused on my breathing. And then like I put my hands up to the side of the pool and just like, because like you feel like your muscles are tightening up. Yes. Everything is tightening up. And so I wanted to kind of like stretch my forearms out and stretch my biceps and everything, just because I had just came from jiu-jitsu also. And yeah, so I started stretching my hands, started stretching my legs, and then little by little, you know, I opened my eyes and I started just looking around a little bit. And then I saw our dog, Nisi, out there, and I started calling her. And, but yeah, I did it for 5 minutes. And then when I got out, I felt great. I felt fine. And then I, like you said, I let my body get back to its normal temperature. And
that is a form of meditation, by the way. Being able to control your thoughts when
I
you're
still
in
want
there.
you to get me that samurai suit. Don't try to get out of that.
Anyways, but it really is, because a lot of times we talk ourselves out of doing things before we even do them, right?
Yeah.
Or the first time you put one foot into the pool and you're like, oh yeah, no. And then you take a step back, right? Because of the thoughts that are coming in.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel that for me, because where I am with meditating and being able to track my thoughts, control my thoughts, and realize that I am not my thoughts, right? Going through that entire process, the certification for the coaching, that I am stronger minded now,
Yeah.
you know, to do the things that before would bring fear into me or negative thoughts
Or discomfort.
or discomfort. Yes. Yeah. And they say that the benefits of this is because we humans are so soft. Back in the day, right? We would have to work for our food.
And you would just be cold.
Yep. Or
hot.
Super hot. And so being able to put this stress or the stressors on the body, not the mind, but on the body, helps with the endurance and helping you to strengthen the mind.
Right. Yeah.
But there's so many benefits, you guys. Look it up. Look it up.
Yeah, and if you live in Arizona or if you're in a place where your pool gets cold enough, you don't need a cold tub right now. We'll figure that out in the next couple months to see what we want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Speaking of strengthening your mind and the endurance, there was something that well, it has to do with so much, but I talked about last week how I had made this decision, right? Mm-hmm. How I was pussyfooting, right? That's not a bad word.
I just never think you're pussyfooting. So when you say that, I'm just like, what are you talking about?
I know myself.
Right. Only you know yourself. Yes.
And everybody, I think a lot of people, most people have probably done this before, where you have an idea about something that you want to do. And instead of claiming it, you'll say, I'm kind of thinking, you know, I had this idea, but you're not saying I'm going to do that shit.
Right.
Because if you say that, you're putting yourself out there saying that you're going to do it.
Right.
So at the beginning of this year, not even at the beginning of this year, like at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I had the thought that I'm going to compete, or I would like to compete in the World Masters tournament, the geriatric tournament. No, I'm just kidding. Not geriatric. It's for they say masters, but it's just because you're older. It sounds good. Like, oh, he's a master. It's like, well, I'm a blue belt. So I'm just, I'm still getting started. But it's not an easy tournament because it's the big one that people do literally fly from everywhere to Vegas to compete. And, for the whole, like the beginning of the year, I was just kind of like, I was doing the thing. I'm like, I've been thinking about, and when you say I've been thinking about, people are like, oh, that's cool. Good, whatever. Like, it's a good idea.
What happened though? What made you decide?
It's because I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was doing to myself. It was also
because of the conversation that you and I had.
What was it?
As well.
I don't remember.
That day when we were, when I told you, like, I got your back, like, we'll make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And now it's like, now I'm holding you accountable. Like, dude, okay, what's up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like you're holding me accountable and all that, but you did. Like, you're like, I got your back. Like, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm telling people I'm thinking and maybe and this and that. So a couple weeks ago, I went to jiu-jitsu training on a Thursday. And that was the first day that I told people at the gym that I told, because telling coach is different.
Right.
Because that's my coach.
Right.
Like, if I'm telling him, it's because I'm planning on competing in this big tournament. And I was like, I have to go tell coach, you know?
Yeah.
And I did. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to compete in the World Masters. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And that was Thursday. Friday morning, we all go to training. I think Saturday morning, we go to training. You come with me. You were working out at the gym. And the coach went to Europe to go compete in the European tournament. And I tell one of our black belts in the school, like, I'm competing in the World Masters tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like, I'm putting it out there. And now I have to do it. So what happens whenever you make a decision to do anything? Like, when you say I'm doing something, I'm going to give it everything that I have, life will figure out a way to throw a wrench in your shit. Mm-hmm. So Monday morning, I start getting stuffy. I start getting congestion. I'm coughing. And at first, I think it's just a cold. Like, this sucks. I can't train, but it's only going to be a couple days, and then I'll be back in training maybe in a week or whatever. But the stuffiness and the congestion is just not going away. And then you were telling me, you're like, hey, you might have like a sinus infection or whatever. And I'm pretty much like a WebMD doctor. I mean, if you guys have questions, give us a call, 480-331-9846. I'll diagnose you. But
oh my goodness.
So like, I start looking it up, and it's like, yeah, if you have congestion, like post-nasal drip and all that shit, you know, you might have a sinus infection. So I have the app where I can talk to the doctor. And they're like, pretty much, like, you can take some things to kind of help the symptoms, but you're pretty much probably on the tail end of this thing. Excuse me. Yeah. Speaking of sinus infection,
I have some tissue over here. You let me know.
So that happens. And then, like, after about a week of not training, like, I still worked out here and there when I could. Mm-hmm. But after about a week of not training, I was like, I told you, I was like, I've had enough. Like, I'm a little stuffy, but I'm feeling better. I'm going to the gym next week, and I'm going to train. Mm-hmm. What happens that Monday of the next week? I start feeling a pain in my stomach, like on the lower left side of my stomach, and it's not just a pain. It's like a sharp pain that's on the outside. And at first, I'm thinking, maybe this is what a hernia feels like or something like that. And it comes and it goes, and it's painful enough to where it's kind of worrying me about, like, training. Like, I don't know if I should train this way. Like, I might need to go see a doctor or something before I can go training and find out exactly what this is. And I was talking to you, and you were like, hey, maybe you should fast. And I used the app again, and I talked to the doctor, and I'm like, hey, I was thinking about fasting. And she was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Give your stomach a rest. And I did. And the pain went away completely. And so after a few days, yesterday was Thursday, and I went back to training, you know? And so I go back to training yesterday. I felt great. I jacked my freaking hands up because I was practicing. And, you know, sometimes you practice with somebody that has a material on their gi that's a little bit different, their uniform, that's a little rough, and it just, like, rubbed the skin off of my knuckles. But it's just like, I'm getting older and I'm fucking falling apart. And today I go to training again this morning, and training was awesome. You know, shout out to the guys at the gym. They were teaching an awesome class, and I'm rolling with somebody, and something happens where I ended up on my side, but my arms were kind of tied up. And just like this person, all their weight was just on one side and just kind of crunched my shoulder, like, into my body from the top. I was on my side, and they crunched it. And I felt like a crunch, and they let off, and he's like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. And I'm like, hey, man, that's part of the game. Don't worry about it. And at first I was telling you, like, I felt like it was maybe just like my shoulder popped in. Like, instead of popping out, it popped in towards my chest, and it slid out. And I was like, all right, it'll heal, or maybe I just got to give it time. After the sauna, because I was also thinking, I was planning on doing the sauna and the cold plunge anyway, but I started looking it up, and I'm like, yeah, that's good for a sprained joint or whatever. So I was like, I'm definitely going to do it, do the sauna, the cold plunge. And then I went and took a shower. And after I took a shower, I don't know if you heard me. Did you hear me upstairs?
I thought you were enjoying your shower.
I was in pain.
I thought you were like, like enjoying it.
Oh, no.
No.
That was not sounds of enjoyment.
Oh.
That was pain. And I have a pretty good feeling that I hurt one of my ribs, like underneath my chest, because the pain is like right by my armpit on the inside. And now it kind of hurts to breathe a little sometimes. Like I know how to give it some relief where I can move my shoulder in a way that it doesn't hurt as much. But there's times, it might happen during the podcast, but like it gets intense, you know, and I just kind of got to focus on the pain and, you know, let it pass. But there was something that I was thinking. We were talking about something last night, and it was about Joey. You remember what we were talking about? We had just came back from jiu-jitsu.
Were we at the dinner talk?
Yeah, I think it was after dinner. And it's kind of like what you were talking about a minute ago. Like how we are so comfortable now with our air conditioning, with the heaters, with the blankets. Those things are nice.
People delivering food to us not having to go out.
Exactly.
The scooters, you
Amazon
can have
drops
a
everything
motor
off.
scooter.
Yeah.
Now you don't even have to pedal. Motorbikes, you don't even have to pedal.
And the truth is, all these things make us softer. And I was talking to you about Joey and like how we and I need to find a way to make him find that fight in him. Not just a fight, but to find grit. And what grit is. What grit is, I will not take no for an answer. I will not give up. I will not make excuses. I will do whatever I said I was going to do.
That's that masculine divine energy.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's missing from a lot of people these days. And you went out to go visit one of your friends. And you know me, like my first thought is a rib is not something that you can really train through. I mean, I might be able to do certain things, but I can't have people leaning on me. It's going to hurt. But I made the decision. I'm going to train 3 days a week. And right away when I hurt my shoulder, my rib, whatever, I was thinking like I told you, I may not be able to do, because I've been doing these burpees, these Navy SEAL burpees, like sets of 100, and I'm getting in shape. I'm getting ready, like I said. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do cardio. I'm going to work out my legs. I'm going to stay in shape. And when my shoulder, my ribs get better, I'll pick it back up again. I'm going to take care of myself. But we were talking last night about teaching Joey that. And I was getting that thought today that this is the opportunity. I'm going to show him. This shit hurts. But I'm not going to make any excuses for anything. I'm going to fight through, and I'm going to do everything that I said that I was going to do. And I will not make excuses. And he's going to see, and I'm going to talk to him about it.
You have to open up your heart to him. He sees you as unstoppable. He doesn't think that you have any emotions because you are so full of that grit. You have to show him your heart as well.
Yeah. Paul, yeah.
No, because the other day when I was talking to him, he had a disagreement with the neighbor, remember?
With a friend, yeah.
Yeah, with a friend. And he was very upset about it. And he was trying to hold back his tears, right? And I didn't know what was happening because he wasn't talking to me and he wasn't looking at me. It's almost like he felt ashamed for feeling the way he was feeling, like he was embarrassed. And I was talking to him and he was hiding behind the Christmas tree because we still have a Christmas tree upstairs because that's me. I love it.
It's going to be Christmas
in July. It makes me feel great.
Fucking February.
I'm going to make it my birthday. I'm going to put happy birthday to me on my Christmas tree. Yes. And then it's become a Valentine's Day and then an Easter. Anyways.
It'll be a holiday tree.
So then, I ask him if he can come upstairs. Let's talk about this. And he gets behind the Christmas tree. And at first I was trying to get him out of the Christmas tree so that I can have a conversation with him. But then I'm like, you know what? He feels more comfortable behind the Christmas tree and that's how he's going to open up to me. Then I'm going to be okay with that. So I started talking to him and I told him, I'm like, hey, dude, it's okay to be upset. Like, it's okay to be angry and it's okay to cry. I'm like, Dad cries. Dad does not cry.
He just says things sometimes because he's seen it.
When Frazier passed.
Yeah. And other times, like,
he's seen it.
All right.
No, but I'm just saying, just open up your heart to him. That's what I'm saying. Like, just share that part with him.
I will.
Because he sees you as unstoppable. Because he sees how tough you are and how driven you are. And that's great. But he's thinking that he can never be, like, you're way up here and he's down here. And I can never be where my dad's at. Because he sees you as...
And I told you that I had a conversation with him too about that because... And I need to have it again and share a little bit more with him. But I was talking to him because I know sometimes like people don't have the belief in themselves. And sometimes you need to use the belief that somebody else has in you until you can get the belief in yourself.
Yes.
And I was telling him, I was like, do you know who my dad was? Do you know who my dad was? I was like, he was a world champion fighter. He was like national champion. He used to kickbox here. And like he came to the United States for fighting. He went and fought in Canada, got gold medals. He fought in the United States. Like at first I thought it was just Taekwondo. Like he was second place in the world in Taekwondo in 77. But then I was talking to him recently and he was saying that Taekwondo was just a small piece of it. Like he did a lot more in actually kickboxing than he did in Taekwondo. And I told you that I saw a video of him and my mom. My mom was a ring girl where he knocks this fucking dude out cold. Like he fucking dropped like a sack of potatoes. I remember seeing it like a VHS tape. And when you would move the camera, like you could see the string on the lights because it was so old. And yeah, like he fought and he did really well. And I was telling Joey, I was like, that's my dad. I was like, and I have that in me. And I was like, and if you don't think you can, you can. Because you have that in you. And I need to get him to understand that. But with what's happening right now with my rib, with all this shit, I'm going to lead by example.
Yes.
I'm going to show him that I'm not going to make excuses. Everything that I need to get done. We had a water heater that went out recently with our incredible neighbors that came over and helped us out.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Paige.
And the water heater was on the side of the house. And I'm here with possibly like a separated rib or broken rib or some shit. And I fucking put a strap on the water heater and fucking pulled it to the backyard with my good arm. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do it. And this is another thing that I just realized that I was just thinking. When you have something like this, a rib or anything that can give you a way out, your mind will instinctively, the first thing is gonna say, use it. Use that excuse.
Right.
I wasn't even gonna fucking fix my hair because I was like, oh, my fucking arm hurts sometimes when I pick fuck that. That's why I went upstairs. I'm fixing my fucking hair for the podcast.
I was wondering why.
We came down here and I always plug your headset in.
Yes.
And I told you to plug your own headset and then I said, no, I'm plugging it in. I don't give a shit. I'm not making excuses. And I'm going to train as hard as I can. I mean,
the way you can.
The way I can.
Right.
And when I'm ready to go, I'm going to fucking go.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
and
where
I'm not going to use excuses for anything.
Yeah. That's awesome. See,
and
that's...
And even with all this shit happening, I still feel so like the fucking fire is still there. It hasn't even, it maybe it turned it up. because this is just part of the journey, part of the story.
Right. Part of the adventure. I was talking to my friend and she's like, it's not a journey, it's an adventure. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. I like that better than it's a journey. I'm like, it's a fucking adventure. Yeah. It makes me feel better. Yeah. It's an adventure. It's so beautiful and amazing how powerful words are. Pay attention to the words you use and how they make you feel. Because when she said that, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to start using that. And that's what life is. It is an adventure, right? It's a journey. It's pushing yourself to the limit and really getting to know who you are. Like, it took me time to recognize that I was a bit off balance, right? I was more of that feminine energy, that compassion, that empathy, the patience. But that I needed that. I needed that at the time in order to allow you to step into your masculine energy, to allow you to be the man, to allow you to take care of me, to allow you to step into that role.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's an issue that I had in all my previous relationships.
Yeah.
Because I was that way because of my past. Yeah. That was how I protected myself from getting hurt. But in order for you and I to work, I had to make some adjustments. And it's not even like yeah, I remember the day. Do you remember the day in the old house where we were standing on the footboard of our bed? And this is when we had gotten the kids and something was going on. And we were talking about me stepping back from Legal Shield so that I can take care of the kids. So I could do what I had to do to take care of the kids, to put them in counseling, to get them in school, IEP, disability, Social Security, all of that.
This is like in the very beginning of our relationship. Your sister had passed and we were, it wasn't even like, we didn't have to think about it too much. But it was right when we made the decision that they were going to come live with us.
Right. But I had never
3 teenagers.
Right. I was the breadwinner. Like whatever relationship I was in, I always made more money than them. Right. Yeah. And it was my house. Right. It was that. And then when all that happened, and I remember having a conversation, you were holding me. We were having this conversation and I was feeling just, I can't even explain it, but it was like a sense of losing my identity. Ooh, that's what it was. Because I was this person who took care of business.
But now you were going to have to put that aside and take care of
the kids.
Your nieces, your niece and nephews.
So I had to step back from that income.
Yeah.
Right? And I had to allow you.
Because that wasn't what was important.
Right. And I had to allow you to pay the mortgage. I had to allow you to step into your role. Yeah. And I had to be okay with that. And I remember that day, it was, you know what that was? Just a tad. It was a chip away from my ego. That's what that was. That was the first one, chipping away at my ego and my pride.
Yeah.
And I remember crying and just feeling that sense of loss of identity.
Yep.
But then you hugged me and you're like, it's okay, babe. Like, we're going to get through this.
Yeah. We'll do it together.
We'll get through to, and you just comforting me in that manner helped me to release and do the thing that I needed to do in order to move forward with the kids and do the thing that we needed to do.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what, like, we were talking about a couple weeks ago, like the roles. Like, it's just this, it is what it is. Like, whether you like it or not, there's a lot of, new age shit that's happening and the way people see things. We're different for a reason. Like the things that you did, I was not going to do. I do the things that I do so that we can do the things that we need to do together. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why it's that way,
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that you can't, but it's just so much harder when you have to do both or, do something that you're not supposed to do.
Right. And a lot of that learning, right? Chipping away at the ego for me. A lot of that learning happened within that time. But then there was more, right?
There's always more.
There is more.
There's always more.
And recognizing now, I'm going to be 46 on February 7th.
On Tuesday.
Dude, I do not feel 46. Like I feel so good.
Yeah.
Most women will not even say their age, and I just told the world.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very excited for 50. Actually, I'm going to record this on this podcast.
Hey, don't be too excited.
Because some shit's going to happen. No, I'm telling you, I see 50, and I've been seeing
Take
50.
your time, dude.
I'm not rushing. I'm just saying.
I know, you're Mexican.
I'm here. What the hell? Shut the hell up. Like, I'm at 46, and where I'm at in my life right now, and who I am and how I feel about where I am, it's just I'm at a great place.
Right. Yeah.
20s, 30s. I mean, all of that I went through got me to where I am today, but I am so excited for the future. I'm excited for now, right? But I'm excited because I know that I am forever a student. And I know that I'm forever going to be learning.
Right.
And this is the beginning stage of some
incredible
beautiful
stuff.
shit.
I
was going to say India. Magical. I'm like, beautiful shit.
You're about to go
man.
to India.
Yeah, yeah. And that whole thing in itself,
that's going to be
like,
incredible.
I already feel powerful. I do. I feel fucking powerful. I feel just so much courage within, and just stepping into who
you're supposed to be.
Yes.
Right.
And just knowing.
It's kind of like what I talked about with the jiu-jitsu tournament. One of the reasons for doing this jiu-jitsu tournament is because I have a picture in my head of who I am. But I want to see that in real life. Mm. And that's kind of like what you're doing. That's what you're working on. In a couple years, you're going to look back and be like, this is who I am. I am who I am.
Right.
Like I am the person that I'm supposed to be in the world.
Right. Yes. And that's exactly where I feel that I am right now. And not only that, but my tribe. Oh my goodness. Like, I've visualized this tribe for quite some time.
Pretty awesome.
I've craved this tribe really for quite some time. And now I'm living it. Today I was taking some time out with Sam, my friend Sam, and while we're sitting there talking and our energies are just flowing, right? So good. And she's asking me when my birthday is, and I tell her, and she's like, we got to have you a party. She's like, we got to have you a party. Yeah. She's like, let's have it at my house. And I just felt so loved. So loved. First of all, I've never had a friend throw me a birthday party.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll send out all the invites. And
that's awesome.
Just to feel surrounded by so much love and acceptance.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And in this tribe, there is no division.
Yeah. It's just everybody loves each other. They're accepting of each other. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you guys would like to be part of our tribe, make sure you go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. When you guys go to our website, the first thing that's going to pop up is the resource list. And when you click on that, the resource list is a list of books. It's a collection of books, audios. We need to redo that thing.
Yes, we do.
But there's still a lot of really good information on there on marriage, on parenting, on mindset, different podcasts that we listen to, books that we've read, videos that we've watched that have helped change our mind on certain things or opened our eyes to different things. All you got to do is give us your name and your email, and you can download that for free. And that's also a good way for us to be able to stay in touch with you guys, because we're going to start eventually sending out emails and, just to be able to keep in touch, because if somebody says something, or
Miguel,
it's probably me, if I say something crazy where they start taking down the podcast or whatever, because like we were talking about, like I'm talking about roles and this and that, YouTube may not like that shit. And if they're like, nah, no. And they've already taken one video off a long time ago. Right. I don't know what the hell we said, but they took it down. Yeah, I don't know. But they took it down. So if you guys give us your name and email, we can stay in touch with you. And when you're on our website, like I said before, you guys can follow all of our social media there. You can search us you just search Opposites Attract Podcast and we'll pop up everywhere. And our handle on everything is at Opposite Pod.
Yes. And if you would like to support the show in a different way, you can actually go to buymeacoffee.com/opposite pod and buy us a virtual green tea or bottle of water or kombucha.
There you go. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Buymeacoffee.com/opposite pod. And you can also support on a monthly basis there too.
Yes.
And let me see. Was there anything else? Another thing that I wanted to, what's up, babe?
Coaching session. So
yes.
I'm still doing some gifting coaching sessions. And so my calendar, I'm telling you guys, oh, this is so great. My calendar is getting booked. My focus right now is to book my calendar. So by the time I get back from India, it's already booked. So if you are wanting a piece of this, no, it's a 2-hour gifting session. You can leave us a voicemail message
at 480-331-9846. That's the same number if you want to get a diagnosis from Dr. Miguel. I can. No, I will not. And I am not a doctor. Just I think I need to put that.
Oh my God, you better shut up. Give the number again,
480-331-9846.
Yes.
If you want to hit us up or on any of our social media, wherever you can get a hold of us. If you want a coaching session, send us a message and we'll get in touch with you.
And if you live out of state, that's fine. We can connect through a Zoom. That's not a problem.
And you've been having some awesome results with.
Yes,
you've already done
I'm so
a few
excited.
coaching sessions, and man, you've been kicking butt.
Yes. So I
Big time.
have at least a couple of them that are okay with me doing a Facebook Live with them, just so
Awesome.
that they can experience, so they can share their experience with me. So that's super cool. But
Nice.
it's when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Everything just flows. It really does. And it doesn't even seem like work.
Right.
And it's a natural gift that I've always had to be able to connect and help people and to help them to see things that are holding them back that they've never been able to recognize for themselves before. And sometimes, and that's the exact same reason why I personally hired a coach, because I knew that in order to coach that I had to go through the process as well. And I wanted to make sure that I was 100% free of any past trauma or triggers, so that when I'm with my client, I am with my client.
Right.
So,
That's awesome, babe.
So yes.
So there was something else. So when I got that pain in my stomach, there was something that I came across, and it wasn't like I was looking for something about that, but it's weird because, every once in a while I'll go into TikTok to post some things, or at Opposite Pod on TikTok, to post some things or to see if, any messages or whatever notification came through. And you guys know how TikTok is, as soon as you get in there, you get a girl with a big butt doing squats or some shit, at least, I don't know.
Because I'm following some girl on there.
I don't mind.
Miguel goes on there and is like, ooh, let me see that squat,
look,
girl.
If you fucking follow her, that gives me an excuse to check it out. But it's so weird because I got that pain. And
from watching her butt?
No. So I got that pain in my stomach. And it was that day I opened up TikTok. And another thing that had been popping up, which this one, I don't know how it comes up. But it's of this TikToker. It's a little boy who's an actor. And he's been on the George Lopez show. And his dad. And the last couple days I've seen videos, and it was something about like that his dad was sick, or at first I didn't know if it was the dad or the boy that was sick, but they seemed like they were, they're so happy together. And it's one of those things where we were talking about last week or the week before. I don't know who they are, but I was happy to see how happy they were together.
Right. Yes.
And they were going through something. And I didn't know if it was a little boy or if it was the dad. And I was like, man, it sucks that it's either one of them, but I would hate that it's like this little boy. Like he's probably like 5 or something like that. And the day that I got the pain in my stomach, I opened up TikTok and it's a video of the dad. And the dad's got, his hat on. He's got dark sunglasses on. and I guess he had stomach cancer. And he, in the video, is like talking to or there's a video where he's driving. I think they're driving to the hospital. Maybe it's the last video that he made. And he had been talking about how he was eating like whole cloves of garlic, and he was like just doing everything that he could to try to fight this thing. And he even like, they pulled over on the side of the road and he throws up and he's kind of like smiling and everything. He's like, I just threw up like the whole clove of garlic that I just ate and this and that. And the very last thing that he said in his video, if you have pain in your stomach, go get it checked out. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, and I was feeling that pain in my stomach. And I thought about you guys. And I was like, I gotta be here for my family. So I got a doctor's appointment on Monday. I'm going to go get checked out. And I want them to check everything. You know, I'm going to get blood tests done. Now I'll probably get x-rays of my shoulder and my fucking ribs. But it's a good excuse for them to fucking x-ray everything. And I don't know how they can do that, but I'm going to talk to the doctor and be like, look, it may not be time, but I just want you to fucking check everything.
Right.
Like, check everything. I want to stay on top of this shit because I need to be around.
Thank you.
You know? It's important.
Yeah. Because there's times where you are stubborn.
Yeah.
And I hear that a lot of men are that way. It's not just you. It's men in general. And it's crazy that you bring this up because I was talking to my friend Sam. And I told her I feel a little bit of fear. I said, but it's not. I had to look within, and I'm like, where is this fear coming from? Because it's not coming from my coaching. It's not coming from me personally. And it was fear of you, like just fear of, because I know at times how you are, like you will procrastinate a doctor's appointment or try to self-diagnose yourself. And
I'm pretty good at it though.
You know, and it's just like, and when that's why I've been, hey, are you going to the doctors? Like, are you going to the doctors kind of deal? Because, you know, there's just something within me that I was feeling. And when you told me you made a doctor's appointment, I'm like, good, great.
And then I told you I canceled it.
Yes. And then you told me that. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm just like, do I have to make it myself and take you? Because I will, you know, but it's so important, especially you men out there. Macho, right? Just, oh, I'm fine. My body will heal itself. This and this and that. You got to look.
It's bigger than just you.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
I mean, this is a family podcast. It's a marriage podcast. And it's bigger than just me.
Yes.
You know, I got to be here for my family. And yeah, I got to stay on top of that stuff.
Love you, babe.
Love you too, babe.
Well, I feel better.
And so we've been, one thing that I've noticed, so we've been, you know, eating clean, not drinking and all that. And, you know, one thing that I noticed that in the very beginning, you know, it's been about 30 days. I think there's a couple more days left. And the freaking alarm going off outside. Hopefully you guys can't hear that.
Beep.
These mics are pretty good, so hopefully not. But one thing that I noticed is I didn't have like any like coffee or caffeine withdrawals or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest thing, the biggest thing is the habit itself.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Is getting over the habit of doing something, doing anything.
Yes. Let's give an example. So every morning we would make coffee together.
Every single morning.
Right? Drink coffee together. It was the thing that we did in the morning.
I think that's a lot of people's regular thing.
Yeah. And so.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No,
I mean,
no. I mean, we would go work out first, but we would always have coffee together.
Right.
And so that habit just in itself, right?
Yeah.
Was hard to break. And you're right. It was more the habit itself, you know? And then what would get me is that when it's really cold,
or when you're really tired.
For me, it was the cold.
Yeah.
The cold. Like I just wanted coffee,
Yeah.
right?
And
it wasn't a withdrawal, though. It's not like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It wasn't that.
It's almost like the emotion.
There you go.
That
yes.
is attached to the coffee.
Yes.
And I was about to just say, like I just said tired, but I've told you before that coffee doesn't really do much for me anyway.
Right.
And I was telling you, like, there was a last weekend. I can't remember what it was. Last weekend we had it was
softball.
We had a tournament weekend for Audrey, and she's kicking ass.
So proud of her.
But we had a game on Saturday night. Not Saturday night. We were busy. It was evening games, so we didn't get home.
We were busy. It was a late night.
It's important though. Like we were busy until I don't think we ate dinner till like after 9 or something like that. And then by the time we all got in the shower and everything was done, you know, it was after 10, 11 maybe. And then when you play tournament softball or you do tournaments on the weekend, you're kind of placing on or you're playing games on Saturday so that you can place on Sunday for the tournament.
Right.
And we get a message saying our game's at 8 a.m. Be at the field at 6 a.m. And you know me, like first, fuck! Like I gotta be like up on my fucking day off. I gotta be up before 6 so that I could be at the field at 6. I'm like, oh, you.
And not only that, I had an event.
You had an event all weekend,
so it was all Miguel.
Yeah. So we do the tournament thing. We decide that after the tournament, Audrey needs new cleats and some batting gloves. So, you know, like I've been saying, I'm not making excuses. I'm gonna get my shit done. I think I took like a little 20-minute nap that day. The fucking water heater was going out. All that shit was happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
It's always a fucking mess, but it's okay. we fucking prioritize.
You see him get angry, and then he's like, "It's okay."
We prioritize and execute.
Yes.
And so we're going to go get some cleats and some gloves, and I'm just like, I'm tired. And I had the thought, I was like, oh, I want a fucking coffee right now.
Yes.
But like I was just telling you, I don't really think that it's the coffee, that the caffeine's going to wake me up. It's the emotion that's attached to the coffee that I want.
Yes. Our emotions are so strong, and it's what actually helps release trauma.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And forgiveness. Like when you say you forgive, you are not going to forgive because you're just speaking it. There is a whole process that goes with forgiveness.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it's the emotion that's attached to the hurt, to the trauma, that we're carrying around all this bullshit.
Yeah.
When with one decision, it can be released. But there's a process of going through that release, the release of the emotion. Yes. And that's what makes the stressors, that's what puts the stressors on our bodies to help us to gain that mind endurance.
Yeah.
Right? The self-discipline.
Yeah. And that's like the past 30-day thing. I think it's I don't know the benefits or whatever, but I think it's a good thing just to like do it for that mind endurance, like just to show yourself. I mean, I know I can, but prove it to yourself that you have that in you. I control my mind.
Yes,
I control it.
That's right, and you do. It's like the computer, right? The computer doesn't know what to do until you tell it what to do.
Well, I mean,
come on, babe. The computer's off right now. You're going somewhere else. Shut up. You're going somewhere else. It's the same thing with our minds, right? We are the person.
This AI shit's getting to the next level now. Oh, she's going to be scared.
Oh, my goodness. And with that,
we'll save that. We'll save that for another podcast.
I hope you guys got something valuable out of our podcast. What, baby? Were you going to say something else?
I mean, I just wanted to kind of end it like, you know, we talked about a lot of stuff today.
Yes.
And man, anytime you're trying to do anything, shit's going to happen.
Yes.
Things are going to come up. You can't let those things get in the way. And sometimes they do get in the way somewhat, like my rib, like, you know, my shoulder or whatever. But don't bullshit yourself. You're way more capable than you think you are.
Take the plunge.
And I've told you before, when it comes to getting things done, doing the things that you want to do in life, you can make excuses or you can make it happen. but you can't do both.
Yes.
And with that,
look at Coach Miguel. I'm so proud. Oh boy, I'm gonna take you upstairs right now.
so thank you guys for being with us. Make sure you guys go to our website, share it with the people that you know. I think this was a good podcast. You guys can share it with, share it with your friends.
Yes. Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together.
Bye.
Bye.